Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Krupski, the voice of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program. You're watching CTV Sports. Coming up next on CTV, it's the Sports Guys with our good friends Steve, Chuck, and Rod. Don't miss it.
And good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Guys for Monday, July 7th, 2025. I'm Christian Gibbons along with Steve Bene.
Good day.
Chuck Hiller, Rod Calgren. Your boys are back in the studio for a couple of more weeks until our next live show. Guys, Tigers off to a really, really decent month of July. Now that we've passed June, we had a little ups and downs. It was topsy-turvy in June, but we're back at it, and the All-Star break is coming up, and a lot of interesting stats have been coming up with this hot Tigers team, and one of them is our trivia question for the day. So, trivia question is, Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green are the first Tigers since 1993 to hit 20 home runs before the All-Star break. So the question is, who were the two in 1993?
Ooh.
So think about those 90s Tigers teams, and we'll...
I was still in diapers, so I don't know.
I wasn't... Well, no, I was actually in diapers, Chuck, in 1993. So we'll get the answer to that. I would have had to look at YouTube to see that answer. All right. So we'll get the answer to that at the end of the show. But before we go any further, we want to send a special thank you to Pete and Tori for coming out last episode. It was really fun to talk to them about the NHL draft. And just a little update since the draft happened that night. USA Hockey's National Team Development Program, the NTDP, produced 13 NHL draft picks in 2025.
Nice.
Additionally, 4 NTDP alums were selected in the first round, and 23 total selections sets the NTDP's all-time record for the most draft picks in a singular draft. That beats out 2016 when 21 players were drafted. So if you've watched any of their games here on CTV, or you've caught a game at USA Hockey, you're gonna see a bunch of names you recognize in the NHL over the next 5 to 10 years. And like we said last week, Trey Augustine, who is a prospect for the Red Wings playing at Michigan State right now, is on his way through the Red Wings program. I saw him I watched a little bit of the development camp video that the Red Wings put out. So you're going to see a lot of names you recognize if you've been watching the games here on CTV. So again, thank you to Tori and especially Pete for coming on the program and talking to us about the program and about his background. It was really interesting. I learned some things I didn't know about him, and like I said, I've been following him for a while. So
great job.
So we'll tell you later on in the show who's coming in July for our special. Let's move on now to the Tigers, taking a look at the American League standings. There almost isn't a point, but we're going to take a look at the standings here. As you can see, Detroit's 57 and 34 as of last night. Minnesota is 13 and a half games back.
Wow.
14 games for Kansas, right? And Cleveland was running away with this division just, a year ago?
Oh, yes.
At this time, they're 15 and a half games back. Wow. The first time the Tigers have swept the Guardians, I was called the Indians. First time they have swept the Guardians since 2015, so it's been 10 years since the Tigers swept the team in Cleveland, and they're just playing out of their minds.
Oh, it is nail biting all the way, though.
Yeah, the game yesterday, and I know Steve will get into that. Steve, if you want to give us the recap of that game yesterday, it was just incredible.
Yeah, yesterday Skubal was out there, so you expected good things. And like I say, he went 7 innings of no runs. And in the 9th inning, they were down 1-0, and somebody thought the wild pitch would get that guy in from third, and son of a gun, it didn't happen.
If we take a look at the recap, when we played the Nationals, we had that doubleheader, and you thought, okay, the Nationals are one of the worst teams in baseball. should be a piece of cake, right? No, they win 11-2 and then they lose 9-4.
Yeah.
And then, 11-7. So then you're going into Cleveland and you're going, oh great, another series with Cleveland. We're
Yeah,
going to split
there
the
we go.
series. We're going to lose the series.
Right.
Who cares? We have a 14-game lead, but And then yesterday was just incredible. I really thought the performance late in that game. They, even though Skubal got the no decision, at least they didn't lose the game on a day Skubal pitched.
There you go. Yeah, because like I say, when they were in Washington, it was like, who's going to score the most runs?
Yeah.
And then they go to Cleveland, and it's like pitcher duel, first 2 games. It's like, holy smokes, they won 1-0 and 2-1. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
man, that was
The
a
first
pretty
pitch
tight.
that Skubal did at the beginning of the game, right down center, right in the center, and it was called a ball. And
Yeah.
I thought, we got a problem right there. And you could just see the face of Skubal just tighten up like that.
Yeah,
And he wasn't going to let him get his best, and he didn't. He didn't.
there you go.
And that's why he's an all-star. That's why he's a Cy Young winner. He's
But
probably
he will not be the starter. Huh?
no, apparently not. I hadn't gotten into the weeds on that yet, but we'll talk about that more next week once
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rosters come out.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
And the game before that, Casey Mize went 7 scoreless.
Yes,
Casey
and
Mize,
there's
that was-
talking there that he could be called
Yeah.
for the All-Star.
Yeah, Casey Mize has really stepped it up in the last few starts. I'm really now that he's back and healthy, I think he's going to make a real run. So, what else you got for us, Steve?
How about some All-Stars? We got Skubal got picked yesterday to pitch in the All-Star game, and we got Baez, Green, and Glaber.
Glaber Torres. Yep.
Yeah. So we got 4 guys in the All-Star game. It's like, holy smokes! The Tigers are just everything right. Everything just falling in place for them. It's just amazing.
It's been a while since the Tigers have been this good, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
now we're going through all of those. Wow, we have all-stars. We don't just have the token one guy that's
Yeah.
going to sit the bench.
And
you
it's
know?
like, they don't pick anybody, so it's like, okay, we got to find somebody on the Tigers so we can have at least one in the
Right.
All-Star game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty ugly for a while, for sure.
And
Well-
with the budget that the Tigers have, it's not exceptionally high either. It really isn't.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all compared to, as I looked at some of the other teams, I'm shocked at how poorly they're playing. But their budgets.
Well, the
are-
Yankees. The Yankees have taken a nosedive.
No doubt.
And I don't know the record offhand, but yeah, they have not played well. And they've had the Subway Series over the weekend, and the Mets just took them to task. I mean,
that was shocking.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they finally broke a 6-game losing streak yesterday
Oh wow. Yeah.
with a win over the Mets that they won 6-4, but they went from 3 games up in the East up on Toronto about a month ago, and now they're 3 games down to Toronto, who's leading the East.
And
So-
Toronto's playing fantastic.
Yeah, like I say, yeah, and like I say, 6-game losing streak is like away you go.
Yeah.
I mean, Cleveland now on a 10-game losing streak.
Can you imagine listening to? Because we all know how the New York media is. Can you imagine
Oh.
waking up as Brian Cashman
Oh,
or the
man.
Yankees manager on Sunday morning, listening to WFAN in New York and going, "Oh, stop talking about me."
Isn't there any other sports going on?
Yeah, right. Can we talk about the Rangers and their draft picks? Stop talking about the Yankees.
For sure.
But yeah, no, it was shocking to see the Yankees take that fall. 'Cause like we said, the
Yeah.
payroll, as with
Oh.
the Yankees, is just outstanding.
Right.
So
Well, they never do that. That people saying, what's going on?
yeah,
For sure.
what else you got, Rod or Steve?
We
early.
also have some WNBA. We got the Lynx leading the West at 17-2, 11-0 at home.
Wow.
Oh, whoa.
And Liberty is leading the East at 12-6, but they've lost 6 of the last 9 games.
Wow. And the Liberty were
Yeah, they
undefeated
came
to
out
start the
smoking,
season. Yeah.
9-0 coming out of the gate. And one thing that we don't see very often in baseball, the Rays and Twins were playing, and the Twins won on a walk-off bunt.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah,
What is this?
walk-off
Little
bunt.
League?
Man was on
That's
third,
awesome.
and he laid down the perfect bunt and made it first, and the guy scored, and it's like game over, man. It was amazing.
Oh, that is.
for
That's
sure.
great.
And Ohtani, he actually pitched 2 innings,
Yeah.
Wow.
didn't give up any runs. The first 2 games he was in, he pitched 1 inning, and they took him out. But now he got 2 innings on his birthday. And the Dodgers lost, of course, to Houston, 6-4. But their Dodgers got swept by the Astros. So, like say, they're kind of been a little bit of an upside down weekend.
Wow, and so that does mean the Tigers have the best record in baseball then, right? If the Dodgers lost.
Oh yeah. But also in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is out with a groin pull, and they wound up losing to the LA Sparks, 87-89, and Kelsey Plum, she put up 20 points. But so the WNBA is also coming to Detroit.
Yeah.
But
And bringing in
when?
a new franchise, WNBA franchise to
In
Detroit.
09, right?
Yeah, I think they got
20.
15 teams, and they're going to go up to 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say,
But
so
how
that's
about-
coming in 29, I think.
You know, when they mentioned about Detroit coming in 29, the big thought, who was that who said that? Nobody wants to play in Detroit.
Oh, that was Paige Buckers, and not that here on Sports Guys we get into the middle school drama, but it was quite interesting for a player that plays for Indiana to come out and say, "Oh, the players don't want to go to Detroit and Cleveland." It's like Detroit.
What in the world?
I saw a stat, and don't quote me on this, that the two, in fact, I know this for sure now. In 2003 and 2007, the Detroit Shock had the 2 highest attended WNBA games in their history, and it still stands today.
Right. Lambeer was coaching.
At a home state, I'm sure the Fever have passed it now because
Oh,
of the
yeah,
whole Caitlin
because
Clark thing,
Clark,
maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, 40,000 in the Palace of Auburn Hills for a
Yeah.
WNBA final game when Bill
Beautiful.
Lambier was the coach. Sorry, don't talk to me about the WNBA doesn't want to come to Detroit. Suck it up. You're getting paid.
For sure.
Boy, are they.
Yeah, I would want to go to Miami too, but Miami isn't going to go watch you play. Okay.
There you go. There we go. We also got the USA lost to Mexico in the Gold Cup. But the ladies stood up and won the American Cup, and they won 2-0 against Brazil. It was always
Oh,
supposed
that's
to be a
good.
big powerhouse in
Wow,
soccer.
Yes, yes.
So that was rather interesting. And of course, the 4th of July, we had Nathan's International Hot Dog Eating Contest. And the time limit is 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And Joey Chestnut won for the 17th time.
It just makes my stomach churn to think about this.
70 hot dogs.
I just can't. I can't.
He ate 70 hot dogs and
10
buns in 10
So
minutes.
not to gross anybody out if you're enjoying your coffee, whatnot. 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes. How much time is he spending in the bathroom
At
after
least.
he eats those 70 hot dogs?
At least.
Like-
Yeah, and the fact that if he doesn't heave them up at that when he leaves
Yeah.
the stage, you know?
Now I've
Gee, that's crazy.
I
stored.
can't believe his stomach is big enough.
Yeah,
to-
Well, you train. I mean,
But I
and
mean, after it
even
was
get
over, they
to
put a tray out there,
swallow.
70 hot dogs, and it was like,
uh-huh.
I mean, you can't imagine that kind of food.
So we have time for a quick story. So I don't know. This is probably 15 years ago now. Chuck, you know the Kmart in Garden City. It was
Oh,
the first
yes.
Kmart ever. So they were having their 50th anniversary, I think. And part of the whole shindig was they brought one of the quarterfinals of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest
my.
to Garden City, Michigan. And a buddy of mine we worked for the City of Garden City's TV channel at the time. So our boss sent us out to cover this event. I kid you not, we were up on stage with cameras, and I got to meet the MC, the guy who wears the cool hat.
Yeah.
I got to meet him. A really nice guy. The smell on that platform was overwhelming. Just thinking about it makes me sick. I mean, it was just, it was so gross.
Wow.
But it was I said, they're athletes. The fact they've got a system, they know what they're doing. It was incredible to watch, but man, did it smell bad.
Oh my God.
There you go. That about covers what I got. So.
All right, Chuck, we got a lot of motorsports. All three of our
big racing situations. Number one, we had a winner of F1. Let's talk about that. Who was it? Norris, right?
Yep, Lando Norris.
Norris, who won that, and it's where he came from. What a wonderful thing that he would race and to win in your own place there in Silverstone in England. I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful thought. F1 has gone through changes all over the place, and they are getting so picky-uni, honest to goodness. If that car is 6 inches over and past that painted thing, remember they're doing 140, 160 miles an hour.
Right.
If you're 6 inches over that thing, 20 points taken off right away.
Wow.
I mean, they are so touchy right now. But in the process of that, because there's so much money involved in it, I mean, the pressure upon that is so great. But that's F1, the ones that I at one time, they were in Detroit here, and they just about drove everybody out with their noise and with their money that they were throwing around. Then let's go to the Indy. Now, Indy was racing at a place where I personally was able to race. I had a Mercedes, what was called the Pocket Rocket in the 90s, and I did race there. Now, friends, just when you think that it's going to be a straight line, you got to turn. And so you get up to 140, 150, which is about all that the little rockets do. And, man, I'm coming there, and you got to turn all the time. And all the time, your back may not be liking it too much, and your brakes don't hold as well.
Oof.
And so you go off to the side. They do give you room to go off and come back on. But it's a wonderful course to race. But I wouldn't want to go there to watch it because no matter where you are, you're 18 miles away. It's like watching Greenfield over here at Michigan Avenue, watching them race. And you're sitting here, you know, it's one of the things. So anyway, the first race, Dixon wins, right?
This guy didn't steal anything or do anything nefarious, as far as we know.
Yeah, well, he stole this race. He was way down, and I thought, what is with him? He's not doing well today. What is wrong? All of a sudden, one would drop out, the other would drop out, and he walks away with it. And it was a nice, clean race, no bangity bangs or anything like that of nature. But it's something to see a car just move on through. It was almost like a Disney feature film, them coming through there and to win there. Then we went to the Indy situation of the Indy Grand Prix. Now, I thought that would just be people from the United States racing in maybe slightly less torquey cars. However, it's international. I mean, Switzerland and everybody was throwing their cars in there. And it was a fairly good race, but we had things that will probably be shown on TV many times. Just two touch, not bang, but just infinitesimally touched. And the car on the right, when he touched, it swung him slightly. And they're doing 140, and he goes in front of the other one, and he gets plowed straight in. He goes into the wall, and as he gets to the wall, he flips this way, lands this way, and when he landed finally, no fire, there was nothing left of the car. He was there. Even the steering wheel and that was way over. The back end was gone, and he was just sitting there, and he gets up and walks out.
Wow.
It just shows how well these things have been engineered to take all of that torque and still protect the person in it.
Yeah.
Of course, he's a young guy, and today he's going to be sore today. He's
Oh,
going to be
okay.
black and blue. But it's wonderful to see that they've been able to engineer these things. As dangerous as I think that sport is, that those open tire arrangements are scary, and going on that track, I don't know. It takes something. I'm not too sure if it takes more brains to overcome being afraid, or if you don't have any brains and you're going to
There
race
you
it.
go.
But it is exciting. So anyway, that's it. They were able to get 24 laps in before they had to change their tires, and by the 24th lap, those tires were ready for the garbage bin.
Wow.
I mean, that's it. And this is a nice track.
Yeah.
But so many curves, more curves than Marilyn Monroe.
Whoa, that's a lot of curves.
That's enough of that. Anyway, that's
Let's
the
move on
race.
to NASCAR, Chuck.
NASCAR. Okay, now what happened at NASCAR? Where were they at? Well, they were in a place called the Windy City, which didn't prove to be as windy because the way they block it off the sides, but it was a rainy situation there. And who won that one?
Shane Van Gisbergen took away the win. He was the pole sitter and the favorite.
Yeah, and who is this guy?
So he, 3 years ago, when they first started doing the race here in Chicago, he came over with Trackhouse as their fourth or fifth car, just as a gimmick, because he had raced in Australia in whatever their sports car series was.
Yeah.
Excellent road course racer. So they thought, perfect, this will be great for him. He ran away with the field. Of course, it was rainy and crappy, and it was a horrible day. But he ran away with the field because he's used to running in the rain, and NASCARs aren't. So then they were like, oh, he's got the bug now. And so then last year he ran full season in Xfinity, won last year in Chicago at the Xfinity race, came up just short in the Cup race last year because he got into some traffic and then got into some trouble with an accident. And then came away with the win again this year. This guy is just incredible on road courses. That's the whole reason he's with Trackhouse. He swept the weekend. He drove for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Motorsports on Saturday for the Xfinity. Took that win and then drove for Trackhouse on Sunday and took the win. Ty Gibbs came in second. My boy Denny Hamlin came in fourth after starting at the very rear of the field, so I was very happy about that.
Why did he start at the back?
He had a little engine problem on Saturday during practice.
Yeah.
He got about a lap and a half into practice, and then his car just blew up.
Yeah.
So he had to change some chassis and some
And they had,
motor in the.
I had never seen a rear end fire like that.
And it just popped like a misfired firework. It was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, that's our racing time. It is so much. There are so many races now. One can't watch them all. If you need 4 eyes, and you got to be watching them, and
There
you
you
better be awake because just watching them around. They used to say could put you to sleep. There's too much going on now, and the announcers. Let's give it to the announcers. They are talking all the time and giving you facts. We can see them on the screen in some of the races now on the 4 corners. It's wonderful.
Give it up for the researchers too.
Oh,
The production team.
to the computers. Let's
No.
face it. We would never be able to do it.
You'd be surprised how many people it takes to put on a broadcast. Even with AI and all that stuff, somebody still has to decide what information is relevant.
Well, they're doing
At least
very
for now.
well. Very well.
All right, Rod, what do you got? I know we got the John Deere Classic and Wimbledon going on.
Yep. Well, the John Deere Classic is an old-time tournament played just west of Chicago on the TPC at Deer Run. But it's one of the cheaper tournaments. The the total purse about a little over 8 million.
That's pretty cheap.
Last week was the Travelers, and that was 20 million.
Wow.
So at 8 million, a lot of the really good players are going to skip it, or they're going to meander over
Over to
to
Scotland.
Scotland
Yeah.
to start getting ready for the Open.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes. So
But,
who won yesterday? 'Cause I didn't.
This one was kind of interesting at the end. There were 4 or 5 players that were even tied at one point, but it ended up with a tie between Brian Campbell, an American from California, and Emiliano Grillo, an Argentine golfer. Both of them, I think, have won. I think Grillo has won 3 or 4 in the past. Campbell won 1 before. And Campbell ended up winning it in the playoff with Grillo on the first hole. It was a par 5. He hit the green in 2, had about a 9-foot putt for eagle. Missed that by about an inch.
Wow.
And Grillo had a terrible drive, had a terrible second shot, had about a 9-foot putt for a par, which he missed.
Oh.
So Campbell could have spent all day putting up and winning the thing, and he won about $1.5 million. So it was a nice win for him.
I would think $1.5 million.
Yeah.
I'll take that to the bank.
This,
Yeah. Well,
this week is the Scottish Open, and a lot of people go over there to play, to just get their body acclimated to
the
the
water.
time
Yeah.
change, and also the slight differences in the grass and the conditions of the courses over there, because the Open is about 3 or 4 weeks away in Scotland. So anyway, that's the golf news. The other news is they're playing the 3rd of the 4 majors in tennis
yes.
this week in Wimbledon, and that is a big one. It's the Brits look at that as the big tournament. It's the only one played on grass, which is quite a different surface from what they're used to. And the other majors are the Australian Open, the French Open, which have been played, and the U.S. Open is coming up in about another month. And there are so many people that play in it, and it is so stressful physically that it takes about 2 weeks to work through to get down to the finals or semifinals. We just passed the 4th round, and most of the really good players are still hanging in there. Sinner, the Italian, is looking good. Carlos Alvarez, the Spaniard, is hanging in there. Even Novak Djokovic
There you go.
is hanging in. Taylor Fritz, the American, surprisingly, is hanging in there. But a bunch of the good ones have lost. Some of the Russians, Zverev, I forget all the names, but
Hey, could I mention one thing about Wimbledon? Front page of the Wall Street Journal today, a big article. You know, there are no more guys up there watching the line. You know, now it's robots as of this year. And they're even parading outside. They're having great big things about it. I didn't realize that those guys in those chairs were so popular.
Well, they still have the umpire at the seat, but they just don't have the line judges.
Yeah.
So it's all computerized, and they have this computerized voice that says in or out.
And it's a big thing to be on the Wall Street Journal front page
Yeah.
about, you know, these British people. They don't like to have things
A
changed.
stiff upper lip.
Oh boy. I thought it was just cute.
Yeah.
We've always done it this way.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
well, this isn't tennis, but I couldn't believe the amount of media space that Alec Del Vecchio got
Yeah.
in the newspaper
Isn't that
when
wonderful?
he died.
Yeah.
Free Press had about 5 or 6 full pages
Yeah.
Wow.
about his background and history, and I mean, it was just amazing. But we're down to the quarterfinals about in the Wimbledon, so it will get over soon. Usually they'll play a match and then have a couple days to rest up. There have been several 5-set matches that go almost for over 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that is really tough on the body.
You'd think so. Huh?
All right, so before we go off the air, just a couple of news and notes. First of all, let's answer our trivia question. So the question was, Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green are the first Tigers since 1993 to hit 20 home runs before the All-Star break. Who were the two in 1993?
Oh, I have no idea.
K-Line? I would say.
Did K-Line play in 1993?
That's what I don't know. I don't remember that.
Anybody else have any
Hank
guesses?
Greenberg.
No, you
No,
was gone.
1993.
93. Greenberg was gone by then.
All right, the answer is Mickey Tettleton and Cecil Fielder.
Cecil
Oh,
Fielder
Were the two.
should have had that one.
Oh, yeah.
Telton I never would have got, but Cecil Fielder probably
Yeah, I
should
was
have.
surprised by Tettleton too, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that is your answer to the trivia question, and then one other note, a couple of other notes. First of all, if we take a look at the Tigers' schedule, upcoming schedule, I have some good news
Oh, there we go.
for those of us here at the Village. If we can take a look at the upcoming games for the Tigers. Tonight's game on July 7th will be on Fox Sports 1. So you can catch that game.
Nice.
Right
And
in your
then-
home.
Yep,
Oh,
right here
right.
at Allegri Village. You can watch it on TV. And then on the 11th, I just found this out this morning looking online. The game on July 11th at 7:10 will be on Fox 2. So Channel 9 here at the Village. It's one of those games that Fox 2 has picked up from FanDuel, so you can watch that.
Oh, my.
And then on July 13th, every Sunday this month, in the month of July, we Resident Life, we're going to show the games in Windows Cafe. So if you want to see the Tigers again,
In popcorn? Is
well,
it
we
popcorn?
should have popcorn as well. That's
There you go. Popcorn. You
I
can't
know.
go wrong.
I know we will this week because I'll be here. Because you asked for it, Chuck. So we'll have popcorn, and then one last thing before we get out of here is join us on July 18th. We've got a special guest again in the Edison Room. Carol Wolfbauer from the Tigers Radio Network will join us to talk about everything Tigers, the All-Star break. Hopefully we'll get into a little Red Wings because I know she was the rinkside reporter for development camp, which I was really
Oh.
exciting for her as well. So we'll get into all of that on July 18th. Join us at noon in the Edison Room. And for my guys, Steve, Chuck, and Rod, for Michael Lean, our director, our stage manager, Kermit Mead, I'm Christian Gibbons, and we'll see you next week here on the Sports Guys. Have a great week, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye now.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Krupski, the voice of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program. You're watching CTV Sports.